Okay, if anybody listening, type in that you can hear me. That's good. Okay. Welcome to my Simple Way to Vibrant Health show. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Stavros Mastrogiannis, and for those of you who don't know me, I am a weight loss coach specialized in sustainable weight loss. I've been in the weight loss field since 1992, and I'm the creator of this Simple Way to Vibrant Health coaching system, which is a unique system that helps people lose the weight that they want and improve their health, but without having to give up all their favorite foods or spend all their free time exercising. And most importantly, how without having to rely on motivation or willpower to maintain the results. Okay, and today's show, I want to talk about breakfast. Okay, and why I believe that breakfast by far is not the most important meal of the day. As a matter of fact, it shouldn't even be a meal. It's breakfast. And let's see if I can convince you. And again, I'm open for a friendly debate. Okay, because the one thing that I find very strange is that I remember when I first went to school, I was taking nutrition, and when the teacher mentioned about breakfast being the most important meal of the day, I raised my hand and I said, "Well, how can it be in Greece where I was raised? Nobody ate breakfast." So I asked her to clarify it. Why do they believe is the most important meal of the day? And she kind of dismissed me. And every time I've had conversations with a lot of nutritionists, back 20 years ago, 25 years ago, they basically call you a quack and didn't even bother discussing as to why is the most important meal of the day. And that's what I want to do today is I want to talk about why I strongly believe actually it's not the most important meal of the day. Number one, if it was such an important meal, then how come if you look at healthy regions around the world, nobody eats breakfast? I know when I was living in Greece in the 80s, no adult in the right mind had breakfast. Now, kids sometimes ate breakfast, but again, it varies, but it was never forced on us. Sometimes we ate breakfast, sometimes we did not eat breakfast. But adults did not have breakfast. Okay. Now, on the weekends, once in a while, they did eat something, but during the week, it was a coffee and off to work. Basically, most adults only had lunch and dinner, and lunch used to be the big meal, and dinner was the light meal. And the thing that I find very interesting is that when I read studies on the Mediterranean diet, which is I was raised on, they always talk about, of course, what we ate for breakfast. But the fact is, what they talk about that we have for breakfast were things that we ate only on the weekends. On a regular basis, nobody ate breakfast. Now, by the way, they do, but look at their health now. When I lived in Greece, I thought cancer was a rare disease. All those dementias and all those mental diseases that a lot of people suffer from, they were non-existent. Now, by the way, they have a lot of problems. What changed? Well, obviously our genes didn't change, but what did change was our diet. Now people eat breakfast all the time. We eat a lot more meat than they used to, and we have other issues. Anyway, the first thing I like to cover is like, well, if how do we come to believe that breakfast is the most important meal of the day? And I can tell you it's because of smart marketing. It has nothing to do with health. It's all about marketing. Okay. I'll give you an example. Do you know the cartoon Popeye with the spinach? Do you know how that started? It was actually a commercial that became popular and they made it into a cartoon to promote spinach. Same thing, bacon and egg. How did that become popular? In I think it was 1920s, a company was selling bacon, wanted to make it more popular and to increase their sales, so they hired a PR firm to promote bacon and eggs and to promote them that high protein diet in the morning is very good for your health. And of course, you're always going to find studies to support whatever you want because unfortunately, studies are very easily manipulated. So let me go through some research, okay, and it shows that how breakfast really it's not an important meal. Okay, one study that I read basically compared the effects of eating 70% of your daily calories in the morning versus eating it at night, based on how it affected body composition. Okay, they only used 10 people. It was a 6 week long study. Okay, and what they found was the group they ate most of the calories in the morning, 70% of the calories in the morning, they lost 30% of their muscle. Okay. By the way, both groups lost weight because it was a caloric restrictive diet, both of them. And the second group, they ate most of the calories at night, lost only 7% muscle, and the rest was fat. So you see, the group they ate most of the calories at night lost more fat than the group they ate it during the day. Okay, and by the way, this is very easily explained, and is because when you eat breakfast, okay, I don't know if you probably heard me before talking about the 16 hours, the benefits of allowing your body to go for 16 hours without food. And one of the main benefits, it makes your body more efficient at burning fat. So you see, when you eat all these calories in the morning, it stops your body from using fat as its main source of energy and makes it more of a sugar burning machine. So if you eat all your calories in the morning, well, the body burns more sugar. And what happens once you run out of sugar, it actually will attack your muscle. Now, on the other hand, if you don't eat breakfast, your body continues to burn fat as main source of energy. And most of us have plenty of fat that we can survive on, which spares the muscle. Another study done in 2011, this was a 6-month program wherein Israeli police officers ate around 1,500 calories per day, okay, with one group eating carbs throughout the day and the other group eating the majority of the carbs at dinner. Again, the research found that the evening group lost more fat and had major improvements in their health, more so than the group that ate most of the carbs in the morning and during the day. Okay. Another interesting study was done by Dr. David Ellison, of Nutrition Obesity Research Center of the University of Alabama. Him and his colleagues looked at, 92 studies from 1994 and 2011. All these studies were on breakfast. And what they found was, although all these studies claimed that breakfast is a very important meal and all the difference they make, there was no evidence whatsoever. They actually used their own studies to prove that they show no evidence. It was all basically the way that the studies were done were observational studies. So they looked at a whole bunch of people. The people who ate breakfast were thinner and healthier than the people that did not eat breakfast. And the conclusion was that, oh, look at this. The group that ate breakfast are thinner, so it must be breakfast. And actually, if they looked a little bit closer, you'll also find out that people who eat breakfast tend to eat much healthier during the day. As a matter of fact, another study I was looking at is people who don't eat breakfast tend to drink and smoke more. And also, by the way, just because you did not have breakfast, okay, it doesn't mean you don't eat anything. A lot of the people, they don't eat breakfast, but they go at Starbucks and they have a frappuccino, cappuccino, one of those fancy coffees, which some of them have 600 and 700 calories. So they put down, I didn't have breakfast, but again, they have other bad habits. So again, what the research found was there absolutely no correlation between eating or not eating breakfast and weight and health. Okay. As a matter of fact, most of the studies that I've read, it's the most important thing is about what you eating, you know, and how you eating, which I talk about all the time about how you eating. Okay. Now, another interesting study, let me see, which was this one? Same. Again, it was a 6-week long study, and they found, again, no correlation between whether people ate breakfast or did not eat breakfast made no difference in their weight. Okay. Now, the thing that I want to talk about a little bit is about how science can be manipulated. Okay, because unfortunately, if you look at who funds a lot of the studies that support the idea of breakfast, you'll find it's always the food industry. Most of the times, the food industry or companies who benefit by people eating breakfast. Okay, and sometimes that influences the conclusions that a lot of the scientists draw because they have to worry about their next research dollars, where they're coming from. Okay, because if, let's say, a breakfast company paid you to do a research to find out if breakfast is important or not, if you find out it's not important, do you think they're going to hire you again to do another study? Of course not. Okay, and a lot of times the assumptions that researchers make influence their conclusions. The let me see. It was over here an interesting study I saw before. Hold on a second. Fancy terms. Okay, now the another interesting study was, have you ever no in let's see. Ever notice that if you eat breakfast first thing in the morning, you're just as likely to be hungry at noon as if you did not eat anything at all. Okay, matter of fact, a lot of people say when they eat breakfast, they're hungry for lunch. And I know a lot of times people say, well, if you people that don't they skip breakfast, they end up eating more at lunch and dinner. That's actually not correct. And if they eat slightly more, they never eat enough to make up for not eating breakfast. So, for instance, if let's say typically you ate breakfast and you ate 500 calories, you never the research what it shows is that people do not overeat their lunch by 500 calories. So that notion that skipping breakfast will cause you to eat more during the day, that is not correct. There's no real substantial evidence to support that idea. Okay. And the other thing I find with a lot of let me see, actually there's another interesting study by let me see, hold on one second. Oh, Marion Nessel. Okay, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing the name correctly. A former chair of the Department of Nutrition and Food Studies and Public Health and professor of sociology at the New York University. Okay, this is what he has to say. Many, if not most, studies demonstrating that breakfast eaters are healthier and manage weight better than non breakfast eaters were sponsored by Kellogg's and other breakfast cereal companies whose business depend on people believing that breakfast means ready to eat cereal. Okay? Independent funded studies tend to show that any eating pattern can promote health if it provides vegetables and fruits, balanced calories, and does not include much junk food. Okay. And I've done a lot of research on that, and I agree with her that most of the studies that support the idea of breakfast are paid by cereal companies. Okay. And this is the other study about, let's say, Abigail Carroll. I hope, again, I'm pronouncing the name correctly, is a cultural historian and author of the Three Squares, the invention of the American meal. Okay. In the 1920s, the Beech Nut Company, wanting to move more of its bacon, hired a public relations professional to promote the idea that substantial breakfast centered on animal protein was in fact much healthier than cereal and toast. And bacon and eggs got a huge lift. Okay, again, it's all about marketing. It's unfortunate. Now, let me give you a couple of studies that I have to laugh. I mean, that's a couple of my clients send me these studies, and I'm like, are these people really believing what they write? Here's one study, an article in the Inverse website. The article was by Emma Butel on April 24th of 2019. Okay, over 2,000 deaths records reveal the true cost of skipping breakfast. Give me a break. Okay. Now, according to this article, okay, people who skip breakfast have and by the way, this was published in the Journal of American College of Cardiology. Okay. According to this research, okay, skipping breakfast increases your chances of, I think it was having a heart attack. Let me see. Okay. Having heart disease. Okay. And again, you look at the study and you'll find out that that's not true at all. That's not what the study showed. Again, they looked at a whole bunch of people, they ate breakfast, and people who did not eat breakfast. And the people who did not eat breakfast had less heart attacks and they were much healthier than people that skipped breakfast. So they never looked at the fact that people who skipped breakfast had really bad habits. They smoked more, they drank more. And again, just because you did not eat breakfast did not mean you didn't stop at Starbucks and got those lattes, which are 500-600 calories. Okay. And again, they try to make a connection. The breakfast was the difference. Breakfast is what made these people healthier. And there's absolutely no connections. Okay. Let me actually find there was another interesting thing right into the study. Hold on a second. Oh, there we are. The lingering question of why there is a connection between breakfast and health disease is still outstanding. Okay, because the fact is, there's no connection. It's just that the people who eat breakfast tend to have healthier habits. But again, they try to force a connection, and even within the same article, basically says that We really don't know why. But anyway, uh, let me see what else we got here. Now, the other interesting article I read, let me see. Oh, here we are. And again, was published on April 8th, 2019 in the Cleveland Clinic on the Cleveland Clinic website. Okay, and this is the headline: "Don't normally eat breakfast? Question mark. You could be setting yourself up for type 2 diabetes." What a bunch of baloney. I mean, think about this, okay? You know, one of the main benefits of allowing your body to go for 16 hours or longer without food, which basically skip breakfast, it makes your body more sensitive to insulin. Actually, insulin actually works much better. That's actually what you want. That's what prevents diabetes. So this idea that eating breakfast would cause you, sorry, not eating breakfast would cause you to have diabetes, it's ridiculous. I just can't believe scientists put their names on these studies. Okay. Now, the study looked at 96,000 people. Okay. And see who skipped breakfast and who didn't and the impact on their health. Again, they're not looking at anything else other than the people who skipped breakfast and the people who did not skip breakfast. They never looked at anything else other than that. If they ate breakfast or did not eat breakfast. Again, the fact is, people that they skip breakfast tend not to exercise, tend not to eat as well as the people who ate breakfast. So, and again, to me, I just can't believe that they're trying to scare people into eating breakfast, trying to tell people that, oh, if you skip breakfast, you have a higher chance of developing diabetes. Well, let me ask you a question. Okay. If if skipping breakfast increase your chances of developing diabetes, type 2 diabetes, then in Greece, we should have an epidemic back in the 80s because pretty much everybody skipped breakfast. Or if you look at other healthy regions around the world that typically don't eat breakfast, how come there's no epidemic there of diabetes or heart disease if you go according to the other article? As a matter of fact, they're much healthier than we are. Could it be the fact that they're trying to make the companies behind this idea that breakfast is an important meal is the ones that benefit from you eating breakfast? Okay. The fact is, okay, to me personally, I strongly believe that skipping breakfast, it's one thing that pretty much most people should do. Obviously, if you're diabetic already, you want to do it slowly. I wouldn't just go cold turkey. But the healthiest thing you can do for your body is to skip breakfast. Okay. Now, the one question I get asked a lot is, well, if going for 16 hours or longer without food was so beneficial, okay, how come you hardly ever hear about it? Although lately you've been hearing more and more about intermittent fasting, which I think is a great thing for your health. The question is though, why you don't really see the mainstream nutritionists and the main channels promoting it? Well, I can answer this question right now. Think about this: who makes more money if you're eating more meat? The meat industry. Who makes more money if you eat more dairy products? The dairy industry. Who makes more money if you're eating more fruits and vegetables? The fruit and vegetable industry. Who makes more money if you're not eating? Nobody. And since nobody makes any money, there's very few people that really want to promote that habit of not eating. And to me, not eating is as important as what you're eating. And I'm gonna probably do another live show just on this habit alone, the habit of allowing your body to go for 16 hours or longer without food, because I think is extremely beneficial. But anyway, and since 90% from what I've read is around 90% of the things that you see on TV and on a website is somebody has paid for the information to be there. So of course the meat industry is going to promote all the benefits of eating more meat. The dairy industry is going to promote all the benefits of dairy products. And by the way, they all have their benefits. But again, too much of a good thing can become a bad thing. And the fruit and vegetable industry is going to promote the benefits of eating fruits and vegetables. They're not going to tell you the benefits of not eating because that's not where they make their money. And again, nothing wrong with making money. Where I have the problem sometimes is when, like these articles, they're trying to scare people into eating. And I find that completely wrong and actually very bad for your health. So, anyway, so again, feel free to post any questions about breakfast. If you believe that you should be eating breakfast, again, feel free to post your comments. I'd be more than happy to answer your questions. And for now, thank you for watching. And thank you for watching again. And then we'll see you next Wednesday at the same time. And again, I'll be announcing probably 2 or 3 days before the live show about what I'm going to be covering. Okay, again, thank you very much.